You are watching KOCT's North County Roundtable. On today's show, we have candidates for the 5th District Board of Supervisors.
Welcome to KOCT's North County Roundtable. I'm your host, Kent Davy. On this special election edition of North County Roundtable, we will be speaking with Desmond and Michelle Gomez, candidates for the San Diego County 5th District Board of Supervisors, a seat being vacated by Supervisor Bill Horn. The format for today's show will begin with a brief 2-minute or so opening statement, followed by a question and answers, and end with 2 minutes or so for closing statements. With that explained, let's get started. Jim, would you like to start us?
Sure, thank you, Kent. Hello, I'm Mayor Jim Desmond, and I'm a candidate for San Diego County Supervisor. I'm on my 12th and final year as a mayor of San Marcos. I'm a husband and a father, a Navy veteran with a degree in electrical engineering from San Diego State University. I'm a former small business owner, and for the last 32 years, I've been a pilot and a captain for Delta Airlines. I'm very proud of my service as the mayor of San Marcos, where we enhance the quality of life in San Marcos by linking government with business and higher education, bringing talent, jobs, and opportunity together for a vibrant economy in San Marcos. My platform is public safety, to make sure that you are safe. I want to make sure that the county stays fiscally responsible, and I want to reduce traffic congestion by putting in sound infrastructure. I have the regional experience and the regional relationships and a proven fiscal record to keep San Diego County on a path to prosperity. Thank you.
Thank you. Michelle.
Hi, my name is Michelle Gomez, and I currently serve as a county commissioner and a city commissioner. I'm with the Oceanside Housing Commission, and we focus on affordable housing and homeless issues with the city of Oceanside. I'm also a county commissioner with the Commission on the Status of Women and Girls, and we focus heavily on education and awareness for domestic violence, human trafficking, elder abuse, and other type issues that affect women and children. I'm running for the County Board of Supervisors because I'd like to make a difference in our community. I would like to make sure that our working families have a strong voice at the county level. I believe that my experience working with both the city and the county provides me a good outlet to provide the information that is necessary to ensure that our residents are receiving the quality care and service that they deserve. I look forward to speaking with all of you today, and I think this will be an enlightening informational platform.
Okay, let me start with you, Jim.
Sure.
The county runs a roughly $6 billion budget. Does it spend its money wisely? Are its reserves adequate, too big, too little, or just right?
You want that in 1 minute? I believe the county overall has been spending its money wisely, and I believe that they have been very fiscally responsible and fiscally prudent. Now, there are times for change for different priorities. Yes, we got homeless priorities and we got housing priorities. So I think the priorities need to be adjusted. But I think overall the county has done a very good job. As far as the reserves, I think they've got a good amount of reserves of unrestricted reserves set aside for a rainy day fund, and I wouldn't touch it.
Wouldn't touch it. Okay, Michelle.
I'm pleased to see that we've increased the budget by 8% to a $6.27 billion. However, I do believe that we have excessive reserves, and those reserves should be used to combat our affordable housing crisis, our homeless crisis, ensuring that our county employees are earning a livable wage, that they have retirement and benefits, and that we are really focusing on the issues that are affecting San Diego County. I think that we could easily operate on a budget of about 17% reserves rather than the nearly 50% that we're operating on currently. And I think those dollars need to be put back into our communities to help us with job creation and other issues that are plaguing our county.
Particularly in Oceanside, there's concern about decision of Tri-City Medical to move or to disband, do away with the mental health unit. The Tri-City has been saying that it's about a $12 million a year hit on their deficit budget. They can't afford it. Would you favor the county stepping in and picking that up?
I would absolutely favor the county stepping in and picking that up. It's a travesty that we are thinking about closing mental health services here in North County. The services that they're talking about closing are currently serving 16 patients per day, and that closure is going to have a negative impact on the county residents as a whole. I think it's imperative that we do what has to be done to keep that service open. Not doing so is going to affect public safety. It's going to take our first responders out of the field unnecessarily, and it will have a devastating effect on all of us.
Jim?
Well, I think the county should definitely step in and help, and I kind of wish the North County or Tri-City Hospital and the county had worked together initially before they announced they were going to have a closure. So I definitely think the county should step in and try to help and make sure that we keep the behavioral services opportunities here in North County, so people don't have to, the first responders don't have to go down to Rosecrans or don't have to go to Escondido. So I'm willing to step, I think we should step in and help out in that way. So the county and Tri-City should be working together on those issues.
The 5th District is a really big geographic area. Why is it that people who live in Borrego Springs and places like Fallbrook have to go all the way to Kearny Mesa to do a building permit?
I'd love it if they would have the opportunities to stay here in North County. I think it would be great if we had an office for permitting, or if we made permitting more easier task so that people could do it online and use the technology that's out there and available now. If most of it can be done off-site, I don't think we have to bring everybody down to Kearny Mesa to do those types of services. I plan on having an office in here in North County and utilizing that office as much as I can. I'd like to have as many services as possible so that people don't have to travel all the way down to Kearny Mesa for simple permits or other things, if they can do it online or do it here in North County.
Okay, Michelle?
I'm going to go ahead and agree with Jim. I think that we have great technology, and we should be doing a lot of these services online rather than forcing people to get in their cars and drive to other locations. A county as large as ours really requires us to have more services available online, and we should also have regional offices. I do believe if the fact is that we have enough people that are really wanting those permits and those services. If it's a trickle effect of a small population, then it doesn't seem like it would be necessary or even essential. I'd like to see more automation with other services as well.
Okay. In your estimation, Michelle, does North County or District 5 in North County get its fair share of the transportation dollars that are raised by the sales tax? Does it get enough out of Sandag and Caltrans to fairly represent what is needed in North County?
I don't believe so. I think that North County is often left behind and we are often disregarded. We need to ensure that the resources are coming to us. We're allocated 20% of all resources, and I don't feel that we see that fair share, and that we need to be able to reap those benefits and those fair share dollars in all aspects, not just in transportation, but other services as well.
Jim?
Well, I certainly would like to get more dollars up in North County, and it always seems like the money gets, siphoned down to San Diego, to the area there. But you have to kind of look at traffic and transportation as a regional effort. You can't just look at one area and say, I want my share. You have to look at it regionally. I mean, we did get the 15. The 15 works like a charm, much better than the 5 does. The 76 just got finished between the 5 and the 15 as well. Money's coming up the I-5 right now, and HOV lanes that are going to come all the way up to Oceanside. So there's money, to just cry that we don't get enough it's not always fair, because you have to look at the transportation system as a whole in the region. I do think we need more of our share of social services and dollars up here in North County, because I think we're often neglected in those areas.
What about the issue of the congestion that has been on the 78 forever, and a really, really bad intersection between the 78 and the 5? Mm-hmm. What do you do about that?
Well, what's happening right now is they're taking the HOV lanes. There's in each HOV lane in each direction is coming up the 5, starting down by Del Mar and coming all the way up to Oceanside. There's actually room for 2 HOV lanes in each direction. And when those HOV lanes come up, then you're going to have enough room at that interchange at the I-5 and the 78 to connect the HOV lanes and to widen that. Right now, the restriction is bad. It's the lagoon that's right next door, and the environmental impacts on the lagoon. If you were to take an on-ramp, and I'd love to see that traffic light be gone off of that interchange. But we have to wait till the infrastructure comes up the freeway freeway so that you can meet it and connect with it. Matter of fact, we have that on the 15. There's HOV lanes that come up all the way to the 78. I just got dollars through SANDAG and I'm the chair of the Transportation Committee for the environmental impact report to start HOV lanes that would connect at the 15 currently and then come up over the 78 and 15 interchange and then land at about Twin Oaks Valley Road. So you'd have an opportunity then to avoid that interchange. So there are dollars being spent in the works, but the 78 right now, unfortunately, the traffic in the 78 itself has not kept up with the growth in North County. And I intend to make sure that we get our fair share of those dollars for transportation and keep pushing to make sure the 78 and its interchanges get funded.
Michelle.
The 78 interchanges are definitely a dangerous roadway, and we need to make improvements in how it's structured so that we can reduce incidents and accidents that are occurring on a day-to-day basis. The 78 traffic is horrible, and I'd like to see us do more about public transportation and getting people out of their vehicles and looking at more trains and buses and bicycles and those types of things instead of relying on everybody having to drive one person per one car.
How do you square the mass transit related issues on the 78 with the fact that people are going a million different places?
Right, and I think what we need to do is we need to, again, improve our public transportation. We could be utilizing double tracks on our trains. We could be improving our buses and having more frequency in our buses. I think that we need to do everything we can to get our single-person cars off the road. And I think going forward, it's essential to see and look forward to, the next 10, 20, 30 years. What is transportation really going to look like? How are we evolving, and what's that going to be going forward? Are we going to be relying simply on cars, or are we going to have some other technology that replaces that going forward?
Yeah.
I'm a highways person. I don't think public transit is going to work that well here in North County. We've got the Sprinter that parallels the 78 right now. In SANDAG, in the last 10 years, has spent 2/3 of the transportation or Transnet dollars on transportation, and the transportation and on transit. And transit ridership, even though we've spent billions more, ridership has gone down, primarily because the economy has gotten better. I think I would rather see us put more money into the roads, extra lanes on the 78, and then the technology and the autonomous cars, and that's, I think, is going to surpass transit. Railed trains only go certain places, whereas we've got roads that go to everybody's houses right now and to everybody's businesses. And I think autonomous vehicles, autonomous trucks, smart roads, smart transportation is actually going to, if we can take people out of the equation, keep them in their vehicles, and people, I'd rather be in a pod than on a bus. So I'd rather be, have an autonomous vehicle and I think we can get better utilization of the roads and freeways that we have today than if everybody tries to ride transit or a bus. They don't go to enough places. So I think, with Uber and Lyft and those types of technologies coming along, I think that's going to be the next phase for transportation for San Diego's future.
Okay. The various cities and municipalities, government have explored the notion of a living wage for people within its jurisdiction. How do you feel about that?
Well, I think a living wage. Well, I would hope everybody's making a living wage, but unfortunately, I think in our economy, a lot of the entry-level jobs that used to be around when I was a kid, or are now turning into career jobs. And I think a lot of the children don't have jobs like they used to have, those entry-level positions. Most of our freeway projects, most of our jobs that are given out in contracts at city, we all have to pay a prevailing wage, pretty much, and because of federal dollars and state dollars tied in there. So we all do pay a fair wage, and I think people should be rewarded for the work that they do, not just because they have a job. I think you have to earn it, and it's a carrot and a stick. If somebody does a good job, they get rewarded, not just because they're there.
Okay. Michelle?
I'm concerned about livable wage. I feel like there are many of our county employees that don't make a livable wage, where they're barely making minimum wage, such as our security guards. They need to be able to make a living so that they can put money back into our economy. If we're paying them so little and they're near homeless, we're perpetuating our homeless problem, and we're not putting that money back into our economy to stimulate more growth. I would like to see us really focus on bringing the wages up as a county as a whole, and really focusing heavily on those county employees that are barely making ends meet.
Okay. The the county, in general, does the county do enough to address the issues of homelessness in this county?
Homelessness is a tough issue. I think that we're making strides. I'm really a proponent of the Housing First program and model. I think it's critical that we put people in housing, into permanent housing first, and then attack those root causes of what's causing the homelessness. Is it substance abuse? Is it mental health? Is it job placement and job training? I think we need to really focus on putting people into housing and then focus on the root causes and address those root causes effectively. I'm also a big proponent of doing some of these small, tiny houses to really affect change in the homeless population.
Jim?
Well, the homeless issue is actually a statewide issue. It's not just San Diego County. So I think what the county needs to do is provide the next level of care. Because unfortunately, a lot of homeless people and individuals with behavioral health or substance abuse problems, they end up going to the emergency rooms of hospitals. And in the emergency rooms, they stabilize them, they get them out, and they put them back, basically put them back on the street. I would like to see the San Diego County focus more on that next level of care. Okay, once people are stabilized, what can we do to hopefully get them into programs, and if they need help of behavioral health or substance abuse, to get them into that next level of care? Because I think, the recidivism and just the revolving doors of the emergency rooms is not working, because people just don't get off the streets that way. So I would like to see us, and Solutions for Change to me is a much better solution for homelessness other than Housing First. That program makes sure people can't be using be on substances, and they can't be using drugs and alcohol. They have to be in the program. So I prefer that type of a system. Solutions for Change up here in North County operates very well, and they've got a really high success rate. But I think the county needs to step in and give that next level of support after the emergency rooms and after people get stabilized.
Speaking of substances, what are your views of the county's role in medical marijuana dispensaries, now that pot's legalized for recreational purposes? How do you view that?
Well, I think the county is exercising its authority under Prop 64 by what everybody thinks Prop 64 was just legalizing marijuana. Well, it also gave jurisdictions the responsibility over distribution, over manufacturing, and cultivation. And so the county has actually gone, I think they've grandfathered in a couple dispensaries. I don't want, personally, in San Marcos, we banned all cultivation, manufacturing, and distributing. In the county, though, is a big agricultural area. I'm open to possibly cultivation of marijuana in enclosed, secured types of buildings. I don't like marijuana dispensaries. I don't want one in my neighborhood. I don't want one in your neighborhood. But as far as medical, I'm fine with medical marijuana. I just wish the federal government would, or at least the AMA or the doctors would just say, yes, this is a bona fide medical treatment. And then so that people could get their medical marijuana, you go to the pharmacy like everybody else instead of at these Kool-Aid stands that pop up in all the neighborhoods. So I would like to, I think there's a path towards it, especially with the medical marijuana. I just don't think the dispensaries are good for neighborhoods or good for our communities.
Okay, Michelle?
57% of Californians voted in favor of legalizing cannabis, and I believe that we should lift the ban at the county level. I would like to see us be able to have cultivation, manufacturing, distribution. I do believe that we should have storefronts and delivery services, and I think not listening to those 57% of the people and not listening to that demand for medicinal cannabis, we're opening ourselves up to the black market. And the black market is going to perpetuate problems in our communities rather than allowing us to have controlled access. I think controlled access is critical. If we don't respond to our residents' needs, we're opening ourselves up for initiatives, and initiatives can lead us down a path that we may not want to go down.
Okay. The supervisors have abandoned, I guess, years of community planning, allowing developments to build, around 10,000 new homes in various developments around the county. If you were on the Board of Supervisors, would you allow these kinds of amendments or changes to general plan guidelines?
No, I think that we should respect the general plan, and we should adhere to it. I'm not in favor of these projects that are being bundled in unincorporated areas of the county that are not near infrastructure, that are not near transportation, are not looking at the schools and what the educational needs are going to be in those communities. I think we're really setting our residents up for dangerous fire zone areas, and I think that we should really look at sustainable smart growth rather than developing in unincorporated areas that are not really suitable for development.
Jim?
Well, if someone asked you if you had a plan, or if you asked your kid, hey, you're going to college, what's your plan? And they answered you, well, I have a general plan. That's not a specific laid out plan as opposed to a specific plan. If someone tells you they have and a general plan is just that. An amendment is not a sin. An amendment is actually a tool in the toolbox. These general plans only get updated maybe once a decade, and that would be frequent. And what the amendments are there for is to adjust to the times and adjust to the needs of the community. Right now, we have a huge housing shortage. We don't have enough housing. We're pushing our workforce further and further and further away. And then we complain about the traffic, because people are having to drive from Hemet to Temecula and other parts of Riverside County to get down here, particularly through North County. So we do need to put in the housing. This notion that the county has given up, on the premise of your question, that has given up on all development plans is a false statement, I think. The county has held true, but you also have to allow amendments to keep up with the times and keep up with the growing needs. And housing is a big one.
What do you do about affordable housing?
Well, affordable housing is a different animal that right now, government is actually 40% of the cost of a house is government restrictions and regulations. In 2020, every house is going to have solar on it. Right now, you have to capture all your rainwater and runoff. So if government would let up a little bit and allow more housing to be affordable, it's not the developers that are driving up the costs, it's the market and the price of the land and all the restrictions that are put on the housing by government that rises it up. To tell somebody, no, you have to build these houses, 50 houses that are $200,000 or $300,000 each, they're not going to do it. The economy, the numbers just don't pan out, and they're going to go someplace else. So you have to be able to. I think we need to increase the inventory of housing in San Diego County so that our workers can live here and they can get to work here as opposed to driving miles and miles away. Affordable housing, to get it in for people who really need it and who qualify for it. We've done a great job in San Marcos. 10% of our housing stock is affordable housing. You couldn't even find half of it, because it looks beautiful. We've made it look very, very, very nice. So affordable housing still needs to be dealt with. It's the workforce housing that's going to be an issue, and until we increase the inventory, we're going to have less and less of it.
Michelle?
I drive around San Diego County and I see a lot of luxury development occurring, and I think that we need to restrict a little bit of that and focus more on the affordable housing development. And again, it needs to be sustainable and in the areas that make the most sense. I also believe that we should look more at granny flats. I think that's an outstanding opportunity for residents to make an income based on rent. And also, we don't have to source out land. We can be building granny flats in the back of someone's property where they can have rental income. We don't have any of the permitting and the requirements, and we don't have to purchase land to do it. I think that's a really sustainable way that we can address the problem going forward.
Okay. Believe it or not, we are out of time. So, Michelle, would you like to close?
Yes, thank you for watching, thank you for voting, and thank you for caring about San Diego County. I am honored to have been supported and endorsed by the Oceanside Firefighters Association, the Vista Firefighters Association, the California Nurses Association, the Sierra Club, San Diego and Imperial County's Labor Council, and a number of other organizations. If you like what you heard today, I encourage you to please visit my website at michelleforsupervisor.com. I would be delighted to have your vote on November 6th. Again, it's Michelle Gomez for County Supervisor.
Okay.
Well, thank you very much for the opportunity. It's been an honor. It would be an honor to serve as your next county supervisor. I will do my best to ensure that you are safe, to make sure that our Sheriff's Department and our firefighters have the resources they need to keep you safe. I promise to use your tax dollars wisely and to enhance our infrastructure and build our roads to reduce traffic congestion. I want to work hard, again, to make sure that North County gets its fair share of those resources. And I want to build upon the regional and North County alliances that I've already been a part of, the mayors across the 78. We came up with the Innovate 78 to increase the economic viability of North County. I have the endorsement of all of the North County mayors, along with Supervisor Bill Horns. I want to continue with those alliances, and I will continue to build those. I sit on many different boards throughout the county, the San Diego Board, the San Diego Airport Board, the San Diego Economic Development Board, Boy Scouts of America Board throughout San Diego County, and I've developed a lot of relationships that have allowed me to get to know other people within the region. Because in order to get anything done in North County, you have to have 3 votes. You just can't say, gimme, gimme, I want more, we're not getting my fair share. You have to have 3 votes on that Board of Supervisors. And I've got those relationships built up, and I've been working on them for many years. So I have a track record of success in San Marcos. We've always balanced a budget. We've got strong reserves. We've got our infrastructure and our roads are kept up and maintained. With those regional relationships and the experience that I have on the job, I would encourage you to vote for Jim Desmond for County Supervisor. You can check me out at desmondforsupervisor.com. I'll work my tail off for you, and I'd appreciate your vote.
That brings this program to a close. Thank you both to both of our candidates, Michelle Gomez, Jim Desmond. Thank you for your willingness to serve. Thank you for watching this special election edition of North County Roundtable. KOCT will also be playing programs featuring the pro and con representative for the SOAR initiative, candidates for the Oceanside City Council Districts 1 and 2. All of these special election programs will be shown on Cox Cable in Oceanside, AT&T's UVerse service countywide, and as video on demand on our website, koct.org. Be informed about your community by watching North County Roundtable. Thanks, and we'll see you next time.